This one is titled, Our Voices Protect the Individual, Society, the World, and all entities in the universe. I have learned over the years that sharing the mystic law with others helps to clarify questions, desires deep in our own life. My mother immediately took faith in Nichiren Daishonen's Buddhism in 1964 when Japanese pioneers knocked on her door. She read a passage from the Gosho and joined Nichiren Daishonen's Buddhism. Her desire was, what is the eternity of life? She had an amazing spiritual experience at 42 years of age that encompassed 7 days, all based on one word, faith. She received her answer through her single-minded prayers to the Gohon Zone and her actions for Kosen Rufu as a result of her prayers. Since she wanted to know the eternity of life, my question was, where did life begin? How did nothing become something? Where did God come from? Finally, my mother would answer my one specific question. How did the universe begin? She stated emphatically, because it was there. I wondered, would my single-minded prayer ever be answered? On August 2009, a faith-based woman of the family, Kay, came to the house. Through her honest discussions with me, she had discussed how she faced intense religious persecution. I noticed she was like a lucky charm for me and my family. She arrived the day my car broke down when I was stranded at AutoZone. It was at night, and my wife never drives in the evening. She happened to bring with her a clarinet. My nephew in China was trying to decide on the instrument to play, a clarinet or saxophone. I got my final answer by asking my friend, A, who highly recommended the saxophone. Kay made a phone call to China and talked to the music teacher based on A's recommendation. She accompanied my wife to a time-sharing event, and the salesperson sounding so believable, he had me wanting to join. Kay was able to see the loophole of his sales demonstration. I knew she was a woman of faith based on her behavior. The faith-based journey begins. I had given her 2 books that she read by Sensei. She brought one book called The Jesus I Never Knew. She immediately said, "Let me tell you about miracles." I said, "I'm not interested in miracles." Reason, my mom's 7-day ceremony in the air experience and my own faith-based experiences. I said, I just want to know just the history of Jesus Christ. Faith-based experience begins. As I picked up the book and turned to a single random page, I was shocked with this saying as I turned the page to chapter 9, Miracles, Snapshots of the Supernatural. Quote, the genuine realist, if he is an unbeliever, will always find strength and ability to disbelieve in the miraculous. And if he is confronted with a miracle as an irrefutable fact, he would rather disbelieve his own senses than admit the fact. Faith does not spring from the miracle, but the miracle from faith. I knew in advance it was going to be a mystic law day. I was ready to receive the message from the mystic law, especially because I knew chapter 9 meant the 9th consciousness. The document 9th consciousness is a fundamental document to better understand faith. Kay was an avid swimmer and encouraged me to go to our community pool. When we arrived the first time, there was this man wearing very expensive riding gear, and his bike reflected his clothes. He was having trouble with the coded gate to enter the facility. I approached him and pushed in the numbers. Noticing his outfit, I said, "Do you know Lance Armstrong?" He said, "Not only do I know him, I have taken photographs of him." He said he is a professional photographer as well as an Ironman. I said, "Did you know Jack LaLanne?" He said he was on the same airplane as Jack. and he sat directly behind him. He said he was a very eccentric man. I did my separate swim, and then right when he finished his last lap, I said, "My name is," and he said, "My name is Mitchum," like the actor Robert Mitchum. He gave me his website, www.jeffmitchum.com. Around 2 to 3 a.m., I opened his website and was shocked when the first photograph that appeared was a beautiful scene of Jerusalem, the place of Jesus Christ's birth, and my interest piqued to learn more about Jesus Christ. I quickly referred back to Chapter 9, Miracles, Snapshots of the Supernatural. I had just finished looking at photo snapshots done by Mr. Mitchum. I knew there was more to come during the week. The next morning, Kay and I got up late. She said that we better go swim before the sun becomes too hot. When we arrived at the pool, there was Mr. Mitchum just finishing his swim. As he finished the last part of his lap, I intercepted him and said, "Wow, I saw your photographs, especially the one where you capture the ocean's wave." He said the time to capture the perfect picture is 1 hour before sunset and 1 hour after sunrise. We talked more, and I found out that he was one of the original Ironmen that began swimming with the Navy SEALs in the 1970s, before the infamous Ironman champion Dave Scott of Davis, California. I was talking to a pioneer who was around my age. Faith-based experience begins. After Mr. Mitchum left, Kay and I finished our swim. We noticed there was some debris floating above the surface. We were having difficulty getting the debris out of the water. I remembered a religious movie where Jesus places his hand under the water, and I did the same thing. The debris fell into the palm of my hand as I pulled out the debris. I was amazed that it looked like a country. I immediately showed Kay and asked her what country did she see. She immediately said the United States, and I said, "Look closer." She said, "Looks like Africa." I said, "Yes, you are right." The mystic part to this experience was I had gone to a men's division study that week, and the portion I had read, Sensei was saying Africa is the country of the 21st century. My close friend, Q, had told me of his dream about Africa. I knew something like a miracle was going to happen. As I got out of the pool, I walked towards a gate leading out to a man-made pond. I noticed to my right was a single child's red shoe. My initial thought was, why would a parent forget a little child's shoe? I looked at the debris in my hand, and it looked like two shoes, going in opposite directions, forming a V. I was confident now the mystic law would begin to do its miracle. As I began to open the gate to go out to the man-made pond, I said to Kay, they have a Buddhist scripture that says to become inseparable as the water in which they swim. I noticed the debris looked like two fish, not two shoes. While I was talking to Kay, I said there was some turtles in the water. Immediately to our left side was what looked like a turtle, but as we looked closer, it was not a turtle, but a baby bird that was helplessly floating on the water. I could not go in because it was a few feet away. And Kay said it's going to die. Immediately, I looked at the eyes of the baby bird and began chanting Nam Myo Ho Renge Kyo 3 times vigorously. I said to Kay that even a bird can be transformed into a human being by hearing Nam Myo Ho Renge Kyo. I said Nam Myo Ho Renge Kyo is the heart of the Lotus Sutra. Without hesitation, Kay said that the debris in my hand looks like a heart. On our stroll, I saw a dead worm that had died on the sidewalk. I tested Kay to see if she was biased, since I knew that in nature, a worm has both male and female parts. I understand some practitioners want to condemn the human species. I am reminded of a Christian scripture, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We are all created in God's image. I came to realize that everything in the universe is made out of dust particles, even worms. Next. 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 After I got home, I took the debris and began to blow up the picture. I watched as each picture, the debris changed into the shoe, a fish, a frog, a heart, and then I got my biggest surprise. Periodically, I go to lunch with a young man, R., who observed when he looked at the picture, he saw a person with their mouth open. I can infer from this experience that faith-based organizations whose disciples practice correctly teachings based on Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, etc., made a ceremonial pledge to bring peace. Part of this pledge was not to coerce or use tactics to win converts over from their faith. The agreement was that a person who changed faith was because they were mindful of what they were getting into, like by joining Nichiren Daishonen's Buddhism. I agreed that I would not coerce or manipulate a believer of another faith until they were willing, wanting, and clearly knew they were leaving their own faith. I took the pictures of the debris I had taken to my leader, C., who said, "Wait a minute. I was walking the other day and I came across this odd-looking rock." I put the larger picture next to the rock and they miraculously matched. Did I get my answer to my question/desires? Yes. Faith is the answer to everything. Because of Kay and her faith, I'm able to share this experience with all of you tonight. Thank you. And I just wanted to add, the number 42 is very precious. A gentleman had this experience in jail, so I want to share this. And he passed away on April 2nd, 1958. This is what he saw. Upon hearing the sonorous voice of the Lord Shakyamuni, a multitude of bodhisattvas emerged from below the earth. Each of the bodhisattvas was the leader and teacher of a troop and had a train of countless followers, equal to the sands of 60,000 Ganges rivers. Some of the bodhisattvas in the making, whose number was equal to the sands of 50,000, 40,000, 30,000, 20,000, and 10,000 Ganges rivers. Once again, the prison cell was no more. Toda found himself part of a multitude gathered to participate in the ceremony in the air, in which the Buddha imparted to the world the teachings of the Lotus Sutra. The ceremony took place in the realm of the eternal Buddha, the dwelling place of all pervasive universal life. The number of the multitude taking part equaled the sands of countless thousands of Ganges rivers. In the midst of the throng stood a resplendent golden Daigohonzon, and Toda was there. He was really there. It was no dream or illusion that he saw, but a true, clear vision. Toda had no idea how long the vision lasted. It may have been only seconds. It may have been minutes or hours, but it was vivid. Nothing in his whole life had been so vivid. Just as a joyful shout, "I am here, a part of this great multitude," rose to Toda's lips. He found himself again, sitting in the narrow strips of faint sunlight in his prison cell. The vision was gone, but the irresistible joy of it brought to him.